Hi guys, welcome to Off the Shelf. In today's video, I am going to do a little wrap up of everything I've read so far in 2026, January to April. I haven't read too much this year. I've been kind of reading slower and less because of balancing with school and my screen time and family stuff and all that jazz. So I've read 6 books this year, and that's okay because it's 6 books. And that's better than no books. You gotta remember that. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. And these are pretty quality books, I'd say. Oh yeah, sorry. If I'm looking down, I'm looking at my computer because it has my little like reading tracker open. I can like refer to it. So in January, I believe I started this book in 2025, but I think I finished it in January, and that is Collide by Bao Cabra, which is from the Off the Ice series. It is book 1. I've already read book 2, which is Spiral, and I love it with my whole heart. I literally think about it on a weekly basis. It's stupid. I own that book physically. My sister is borrowing it right now, and I miss it. I miss having her. I miss her so much. And then there's the 3rd book, Revolve, which I have on Libby, or it's like on hold on Libby. So I really want to read that soon. And then Embrace is coming out later on this year, and I entered a giveaway for it, and I did not get it, and that's okay. It's okay. I'm not hurt about it at all. I'm joking. So I read Collide in January. I liked it less than Spiral, but it had a lot like going against it because Spiral was like so good to me for some reason. It just like hit. I need to stop talking about Spiral. This is about Collide, the first book in the series. This book follows Summer and Aiden. Summer is in like the program of like sports psychology, I believe. And then Aiden is part of the university's hockey team. And Summer has sworn not to date another hockey player because she has a very bad past with them. Aiden is in trouble with the coach, and he's like facing like suspension and stuff like that, so he's like in trouble. And so the coach basically is like, well, this student needs a subject for her studies, for her research studies, that student being Summer. So like that's how they kind of meet. They kind of get a rough start, like not a very good first impression of each other. They kind of dislike each other at first. It's like an enemies to lover, very light enemies to lover, more like dislike of each other to lovers. And as I say in my review, I'm gonna link my Goodreads and my Fable so you can like check out and like follow me, and I'll follow you. And yeah, I try to keep, I'm pretty up to date with Fable. Goodreads, I'm pretty up to date. Not so much my like lists, but like what I read and like what I finish and stuff. My review for Clyde. It did take me a bit to finish it because like it was like a kind of like a slow start, and I was low key not vibing with the banter. So I feel like it was like very flirty, heavy on in the banter. I'm like, where did this come from? And then like once I hit like the halfway point, it was like very like fast read. Oh, sorry, it's like a contemporary romance. It's a sports romance book. So yeah, I hit the halfway point. I flew through it, and yeah, I say in my review like kind of near the beginning. I want to say maybe like around like chapter 11. It's like a really random number, but I remember like chapter 11 being something. I don't know, just like around that area of the beginning. The dialogue was very flirty, and it just like didn't really make sense because they didn't really know each other that well. It just kind of seemed like fast. But that problem didn't last too long, and the relationship from friends with benefits they do. So it's like dislike you, friends to benefits, and they're like, hey, actually, I want to date. We want to date each other. And then yeah, so I did like Summer and Aiden as characters. They like loved and like understood each other and things like that. I really love all the side characters that we follow. Oh my gosh, I forgot to mention. Okay, so since this is a series, I believe this is considered a interconnected series because you don't have to read them in order, but it might be best if you want to. This is speaking from someone who did not read them in order, and I'm fine. But in the first book, Collide, you do meet all the guy characters that the subsequent books in the series will follow. So yeah, first book is Aiden's book, second one is Eli's book, and you do meet him in here. And it was like kind of fun though, because like I read Spiral first, and I already loved Eli, and then when I like read the second one, he like popped up and he's like doing like very nice things in this book. I'm like, that's just my man. Not my man, that's Sage's man. But you do meet Kian, which Kian's book is Embrace, which is coming out later this year. You meet Dylan, whose book is the third one, which is Revolve. So you meet all the side characters, and then I really liked Summer's friends, Amara, like just a very good like supportive system amongst them, and kind of like a found family with all the boys, with all the hockey boys. Kind of fun. Oh yeah, the epilogue, I really enjoyed the epilogue because I think it's kind of like a trend in romance books where the female main character had like a dream or like a career. In the epilogue, oh, she dropped it and now she's a mother and she doesn't work or follow her dream at all. Which I'm not saying you have to work, but like you just like give up your dream. It's just kind of very like traditional, and it's just kind of, it butchers the character you built so much time building. Yeah, the epilogue was a very like seamless showing of the continuation and like the growth of their love past like this university age, and like it's like a few years down the line. I want to say 5, I could be wrong though. Yeah, it shows that Summer continued to have her career as a sports psychologist and did not stop her dreams and like her goals to have children. Like she had both. And yeah, Aiden's also a very like active father, it seems like, so that's awesome. So that's basically it for Collide. Oh, my rating. Duh. I'll have it up on the screen. I rated it 4.25. It was really hard to come up with a rating. I'm kind of bad with rating books. And meanwhile, I gave Spiral like 5 stars. Again, if you can't tell, I love that book. Okay, next book I read was in February. Again, similar situation. I started You're the Problem, It's You in 2025, finished it in 2026. So yeah, You're the Problem, It's You. And that is the second book in the Mischief and Matchmaking series. And that is by Emma R. Albin. I read Don't Want You Like a Best Friend by the same author, and that's the first book in this. It might just be like a duology. I don't know if they're going to continue it or not, but it's like a Regency queer romance little series. I feel like there's also interconnected standalones in a series. It's probably better you do read Don't You Like a Best Friend first. I think it'd make more sense. The only thing about this series that's a little confusing is the family tree, because James is the cousin of Beth from the first book, and Robert is the cousin of Gwen from the first book. So like they like cross. It's, and then, oh, I don't want to spoil it. Never mind. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I think it would be technically a spoil if I said that one thing. The first one was sapphic and I enjoyed it. There was like some things that annoyed me, but overall I enjoyed it. You're the Problem, It's You. It's between Robert and James. I rated this one a 4.5. I rated this back in February, and I usually rate my books pretty soon after I read them, but I'm gonna start to give myself a little bit more time to review them. I would like to get like my fresh thoughts in a written review, but anyway. I did think it was a pretty good follow-up and continuation from the Don't Want You Like a Best Friend story, exploring the cousins further. I feel like the best thing about this book, and like this aspect of the book was stronger in this one than the previous one, is like the characterization. Like I knew, because in both the first one and the second one is dual POVs. For like each chapter they alternate, and so in this one, like when you're in the headspace of that character, like the way they think is like so clear and distinct, and you just like get to know like their mindset and their attitude and like how they think of themselves and like the world around them and the people they interact with, especially like with James. Like his relationship with his like stepfather is like a very big thing for him, and just like a very great struggle with that, and like his stepfather is not a nice man. I do like how both books have an integration of like a huge act or law that is being passed at that time. So the first one was the law, I don't know the exact name for it. It's like the ability for a woman to divorce. And then this one follows like basically the act for funneling down and having like better medical professionals. That's like so vague and probably not the right definition for these laws and acts. Like a side plot of this amongst the romance is also focusing on getting this act passed, and like our characters are basically like the good guys, and then they have antagonists who are like against the act being passed. So, like that's a part of the book. Speaking of antagonists, this book, the one thing I kind of did not like about it, our antagonist was fine, it's just he's kind of villainy, which is like okay. When they were like confronting him, like when it came to the point to confront him, I don't know, it's kind of like villainy, but it's okay. Like very strong villain. Other than that, it's just like he did have like a dark side to him, and he actually did like some bad things, or like our main characters have a like bad history with, one of our main characters has like with him, so like that's kind of like an interesting touch to add. But he had like villain monologues and like speeches that were kind of funny more than like intimidating to read. And I did like how the problem was resolved. It was very like tie with a bow, like very like neat, and everything was like wrapped up, and that's including the epilogue. Like everything was like wrapped up nicely. Just like the characterization on this like silly little romance book is fantastic, and it's like very, I don't want to say relatable, but it can be relatable for some, and like some parts did relate to me, just like how the person's like inner workings function. It's just like so detailed, and you get to know them like so intimately within their chapters, and that part was just like so polished in this book. Sorry if anything has changed, I had to leave and come back. So, we're going to continue with my next read. Game Changer by Rachel Reed, I read in like 1 or 2 days. It was lightning speed. Again, it's like a very like easy to read, very readable like romance book. And this is Game Changer like number 1. I think this is the first in the series. This is the book that comes before Heated Rivalry. I have not finished this. I started it, but again, like nothing against this book. I haven't been back to read it because I've been like occupied with other things and like other books that I really do at the library and things like that. I did start this like right after I read this one, but I just haven't been back to read it. So pretty soon though, after like school gets out, I'm going to restart it and probably fly through it because I love the Heated Rivalry show, as like so many people do. So much, it's like so deserved because it's like a wonderful, beautiful show. Like fantastic acting, cinematography, directing, everything. So this follows Scott and Kip. I should say this is like a hockey romance if you don't know. It's a hockey romance book. It's between Scott and Kip. Scott being the captain, New York Admirals in the NHL, and then Kip is like applying to grad school and currently works at a smoothie shop. Scott's not doing so well in his hockey career. He's kind of like at a low, and then he visits this smoothie shop, gets a smoothie from Kip, and then like ever since then, like his hockey game has been at like an all-time high. Like it's gone like so much better, and everyone's like, what is up with Scott Hunter and things like that. He basically like he comes back to go get the smoothie like a couple more times to see if it's like a good luck charm, or like he believes it's like a good luck charm, and he's very superstitious. And it kind of lends into like the superstition thing, like not washing socks or whatever. Like he kind of like jokes about that. So yeah, he gets this smoothie and they kind of like bump into each other at another event, and then they kind of date from there. But an obstacle that their relationship goes through is the fact that Scott Hunter is basically a celebrity in New York and also like in the hockey scene. He's like very famous, and he wants to like he's a very private person. Like he doesn't really like to let stuff out into the public. When this book takes place, like being out and like being gay is not very common in athletes, and so he's just like very hesitant to come out, and also like come out and like, hey, I'm like with Kip. And so like that's like kind of like the journey and like struggle they go on. I rated it. This one I really struggled with my rating. Because it's hard to separate like my love for the show. Oh, also sorry, they are the couple that's featured. Episode 3 in the show is like their designated episode, I should say that. So like that episode is basically spans the entirety of this book. Some scenes were added into the show that were not in this book, and also they've like taken out some of these scenes, like they're not featured in the show. So like yeah, but they did a very good job like fleshing out the characters and like their inner workings and like relationships and like thought processes and things like that. And like the acting, like wow, like just like acting in general in that show is just like unbelievably amazing. Wow. So yeah, they're in episode 3. I rated the book 3.25 stars. Yeah, like what I was saying when I got off track, it's like hard to separate my love for the show from the book. So like that's why I was kind of struggling with the rating. I'm like, okay, am I about to like overrate this book because of how much I love the show and like the characters and stuff? And so I was like, okay, I think 3.25 is a good rating. And so I basically just said in my review, like, I love following Kip and Scott and their journey of happiness and love, ! Having watched the show before reading this book and having like the scenes and actors, when I'm reading, I have like very like visual pictures in my mind, as like most people do. Some people don't have this at all, but like I have like very like a clear picture in my head as I'm reading. But like having watched the show, I replace the actors, and like the actors are in my head as I'm reading, and like the scenes, like I kind of like picture them as they are in the show as I'm reading them. So that's fun. I guess the book was, I don't want to say shallow, that sounds like a very strong word. It's just I feel like the show really like fleshed them out, and I don't know, this book maybe a little I don't want to say insta lovey. I don't know, honestly it's been kind of a bit since I've read it, so I didn't really do a good job like remembering my thoughts on it, I'll be honest. But I mean, I flew through it. Very readable. It's like an enjoyable read. I didn't really have like too much problems with it. I just I think the rating of 3.25 felt right. And I do remember there was like points where I think I was like kind of mad at Kip for not being understanding. And then I was also kind of like mad at Scott for like what he was saying. There was like a part where they were like not talking to each other. I guess like I think that part I remember kind of like annoying me. I don't know. Cuz like it was like slightly like miscommunication-esque. So, like not like the complete trope, but like kind of like teetering on that line. And so yeah, there's a part where they weren't like talking to each other. I'm kind of glad that part is not really in the show. Like that's an example. So anyway, that's Game Changer. If you have watched the show and just want to like know the source material and things like that, I'd recommend it. But I mean, you don't have to read it if you don't want to. It's a good book. It's an enjoyable book. I mean, I had a fun time reading it. Reading it in public, though, I was bold. I was reading this in public at school. It was pretty funny. The next one's a YA horror book. It is Compound Fracture by Andrew Joseph White, and I love Andrew Joseph White's work. He's just a fantastic author, and like what he's doing in the horror space and like the YA space, and like his characters and like his worlds are like so detailed and like unique. It's just amazing, and I love him so much. And yeah, so I've read Hello Followed With Us and The Spirit Bears Its Teeth, which are also YA horror. Well, actually, yeah, they're horror, and then Hell Followed With Us is more dystopian. Spirit Bears' Teeth takes place, I believe, in the Victorian era. Compound Fracture takes place in like 2019, like think like 2019, 2018, like West Virginia. So it's like very like contemporary, realistic setting, and that's why when I was like reviewing this book and like really like thinking and reflecting on it after I was reading, I was like, I just love how Andrew's like shift to like a contemporary like relatable setting. This like realistic and contemporary setting for Compound Fracture was like so gritty, and just I loved experiencing like his writing in this different setting, and not so like, I don't want to say like fantastical, but like removed from our world in a way. While like this is like so like embedded, it's like so embedded in our world, and it's like something that we can like come across. And yeah, so it's just like a very like different shift from his other works. So I mean, they're all like fantastic, and I would recommend them if you can handle gore, like body horror type stuff. Definitely look up trigger warnings. But if you can like handle those kind of things and like transphobia, because all of Andrew's main characters are trans men, or yeah, trans guys. And so yeah, Compound Fracture follows Miles. Also, for Compound Fracture, another trigger warning is like dead naming and misgendering, but just like wary of those as well, because I know that can be a trigger for trans readers out there. Oh, and also I just want to say, Andrew recently released You Weren't Meant to Be Human, which is his first adult horror, and I can't wait to read it. I had it for my library, but then I had to give it back. I do really want to read that soon, and I think I'll be caught up on all of his books, which is exciting. I just like, he's such like a special author to me. So Compound Fracture, I kind of talked about how the setting was like so like distinct and gritty and detailed and like very like immersive. Okay, so Miles, our main character, is like such a strong will and strong-headed character, and he goes through so much in this book. And it's funny, at the end of my review I said I loved him so much. He truly deserves the best and a break. Like the things that he goes through at his age is crazy, because he's a junior. I think he just graduated junior year, and this is like the summer after junior year that this all takes place. I don't think I have anything to really critique it. I guess some of the language can be repetitive at times, but I think you can kind of just like find that in the YA genre in general. Like nothing really against the book. But yeah, I don't really have anything to critique it. I gave it a 4.75, so almost a 5 stars. It just, doesn't really give you that like 5-star read, as some people say. This book, as with the other two that I've read, they're very like graphic. So like they can be graphic, and they have like gore and like body horror and just like very like strong descriptions. So I did have to take a break from the book. Nothing against it. It was just for me. And then after that, I like flew through this one. It's like very compulsive read and like very like well paced, and it's just a very, very well crafted story. Yeah, so that's Compound Fracture. And also the cover. I love every one of Andrew's book covers. They're just, I love the style. They're so good. But like Compound Fracture, it just like, ever since I saw it for the first time, it's like stuck with me. I was like, I definitely want to read it, and I have. So yeah, that's Compound Fracture. It might be my favorite out of all three. I think it is. I don't know. It just seems like they get better. I feel like one is better than the other. I don't know. But I think a Compound Fracture is my favorite out of the three. So yeah, my next book is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This is a YA romance, and I read this also in like 1 or 2 days because it was a loan from the library, and I like gave myself only like 1 day to finish it, and so I literally like zoomed through it. It was crazy. Yeah, this was a very cute romance, and it's like a nice like cleanser after finishing Compound Fracture, because I think, oh yeah, I finished them both in April. So, and I finished one more in April. We'll get to that in a second. Oh, darn it. I finished Game Changer in March. So far we have one book in January, one book in February, one book in March, and 3 books in April. Second book I read in April was Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This is a YA romance book, and it follows Liz, and she has been grieving the loss of her mother, so grief is very prominent in this book. This book is very much tied to like rom-coms, like rom-com films, and it's cute. Like at the beginning of each chapter there's like a quote from a movie, and I tell you which movie it's from and stuff like that. And in the back of the book there's like a music, or the front of the book, there's also like a music playlist for Liz and Wes, which are our two main characters. And just like Liz relates to her mom and is like very like deeply connected to her mom through rom-coms because they used to watch them together, and like that part was relatable because I watched rom-coms with my mom. Like I grew up doing that, and like I still do, and like with my sisters and my siblings and stuff. So like that was like really touching. So Liz is like looking for like that rom-com romance where she is at in life. She's looking for that rom-com love. And so this guy from her past, I cannot think of his name right now. Is it Michael? It might be Michael. He comes back in her life, and she's like, he's the one. And then she asks her neighbor Wes, who's like her enemy. Their enemy grounds. The reason why they're fighting is over a parking spot in front of their house, because there's like only like one parking spot. So like that's their huge thing. And there's like playful fighting and whatever, like teasing and stuff. And so yeah, she like asks Wes to help her like put in a good word for her and like try to get with this guy Michael. Yeah, a little bit of fake dating. It's like very light fake dating. It's more like just like talking her up, and Wes like pretends he has a crush on Liz and like pretends he likes Liz to get like Michael's attention and stuff. So yeah, but they bond, and like their perception of each other changes over time because Liz realizes like, wait a minute, I was like wrong about Wes and stuff like that. So very cute, very cute. I really liked Wes as a male main character. I just like reading it, and there's like lines in it, and it shows like how much he really cares for Liz and things like that. I was like, ooh, I see you, I see you. Liz was relatable, and she was kind of messy. Yeah, there's a couple things that she really didn't need to do, because she does a little bit of lying or like hiding things from her friend and stuff like that. I was like, you don't really need to do that. So like that part kind of annoyed me. But I mean, again, she's a high schooler, so she's not gonna really think things through. So I mean, it's kind of like a realistic take on someone her age. And yeah, but I still loved her a lot, and she has very complex feelings related to her grief, and how she expresses them is maybe not always the best, but like she's like really trying to cope with it at this time. But yeah, so that's Better Than the Movies. I highly recommend it. There is a sequel called Nothing Like the Movies. I don't know if I want to read it because I heard it kind of negatively affects the couple, and I just heard it's not very good. So I don't know if I'm gonna read it. If I really feel inclined to, I will, but I'm not really in the rush to read it right now. Okay, last book I read in April is Instructions for Traveling West by Joy Sullivan. This is a poetry collection. I read this for my university book club because April is, I believe, National Poetry Month. And so we chose, it's funny, like most of the people in my group didn't really like it. I mean, I didn't love it, I would say. I just realized I didn't put a rating or a review for it. Yeah, like kind of like what I was saying earlier, I'm gonna try to give myself like more distance from me freshly reading it. And plus, I also wanted to see how my club was reacting so I could like better understand my thoughts. But yeah, this being a poetry collection, easy to understand poems, I flew through it. So like kind of like something I said in book club was like, I think if it wasn't a poetry collection and she maybe like framed it more so as a short story collection and then like fleshed these stories out more, I think that would be better suited because as someone said in book club, this is kind of like not a very good example of what poetry can be. Shallow exploration of what she's covering and things like that. And so it's going to sound really rough. I don't mean to come off across as rough. I'm so sorry. I think shallow is kind of a good word to describe this book. And I feel like there's like a couple things that she like touched on with a word and then like just like drove past it and like didn't really return to it or go further in depth, which I think would have helped it be stronger. So this is a debut collection. But so basically Joy Sullivan, she leaves her like planned life, her life with plans. Like she leaves the person that she loves and like her job and sells her house and then she like drives west and like reconnects with nature and with life and is really all about like I think connections is like a huge thing with her. Connecting with people and like nature, like I said, like connecting with your desire for like a bigger life. I did underline some lines in this collection, and then there was like quite a few poems that I did like. Like there was a middle section where she relate to like Adam and Eve. I found those very interesting because it takes Eve in another direction and like almost like recontextualize her, adds like more depth to like what we may know her to be. And yeah, she like this collection like deals with loss a little bit and like past relationships. She does talk about how her childhood was kind of lonely, growing up was kind of lonely, but now she's living her life to her, like according to her desire and like what she wants to do. I would say if you're getting into poetry and you've maybe already read all the like the big popular like poetry collections and you like just like want to dip your toe like further into it, I think this would be a good place to start. Just keep in mind there are better collections out there that probably deal with these similar topics in a more like in-depth way. Those are the 6 books I've read so far in 2026. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, so if you want to see any of these books in a reading vlog, reading video, anything like that, let me know. Oh yeah, let me know what you've read this year. Let me know if what you've read this year, like what your favorites have been, what you may have not liked. So that'd be fun. Maybe I'll get some book recommendations. Let me know if you've read any of these and like what your thoughts were on them and like get a little conversation going. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. And yeah, again, thank you and see you next time. And don't forget, don't be afraid to go off the shelf. Bye bye.